Hello and welcome to this webinar, NG Ask 2013, a Parent's Guide, and good morning to you all. My name is Mukunda Krishnaswamy. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Lumos Learning. I would be the moderator for our presentation today. It is my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Marissa Adams. Marissa has worked in education for the past 13 years. She taught 8th grade U.S. history and was a campus-level administrator at the elementary, junior high, and high school levels. She has served as a curriculum writer and assessor. Her education-related publications include 2 district-wide curriculum guides for Katy Independent School District and a curriculum guide for Lumos Learning. In addition to her campus-level work, Marissa serves on U.S. Congressman Michael McCaul's Educational Advisory Board and is a member of Texas Council of Women School Executives, American Supervision and Curriculum Development, Phi Kappa Phi, and Delta Kappa Gamma. And she's been recognized 3 times in the Who is Who in Educational Leadership publication. Before I pass this on to Marissa, a couple of housekeeping tasks. During this presentation, all lines would be muted. However, you can post your questions in the chat box. At the end of this presentation, we will have about 5 minutes for question and answers. Marissa and I would be happy to answer any questions during that time. Please go ahead, Marissa.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us as we explore a Parent's Guide to the NJS 2013. We're very excited to have a full house with us today, and because we have so many people online, as Mukunda mentioned, we will have all participants muted during the webinar. This will give everyone the best opportunity to hear all the content presented. And as he also mentioned, we will have time for question and answering at the end of the presentation. However, we want you to feel free to participate in the discussion. So if you have a question or comment you feel needs to be addressed during the presentation, feel free to type it in the chat box on your screen, and we'll see if we can answer it then or save it till the end. As parents, it can be very stressful to try and determine the best way to support children throughout the process of the NJ Ask. This is actually a topic that is extremely important and relevant to me. As a parent and an educator, learning ways to best support my child have been crucial to her success and very often my sanity. We're going to be covering quite a few interesting topics today. We're going to take a look at what exactly the Common Core State Standards Initiative is, the history of the initiative, where it currently is and where it will be in the future, how the NJ Ask looks for the 2012-2013 school year, what the NJ Ask transition is, and how you can help your children successfully survive the NJ Ask. We will then follow up with some time for questions and answers. And if there are no questions at this time, we're going to go ahead and get started. Educational standards are not a new idea. However, they constantly receive quite a bit of buzz. It seems that everyone has an opinion on how valid the notion is and whether they should be supported. But like it or not, standards are here to stay. In fact, educational standards are being standardized themselves. As the accountability progresses, educational leaders in many states have recognized the need for more robust and rigorous guidelines. The Common Core State Standards Initiative was created from that need. It is a state-led effort that is coordinated by the Council of Chief State School Officers and the National Governors Association for Best Practices, and it has been built by school administrators, teachers, and other educational experts. In June 2010, the first set of mathematics and language arts literacy academic guidelines were released. This was actually the beginning of attempting to standardize educational content across the states. The current alignment is known as the Common Core State Standards. These guidelines have been adopted by 45 states and 3 territories within the United States. A glance at the map at the top of the slide offers a quick visual as to which states have adopted these standards. These standards are not prescriptive in nature, but they do indicate what content should be taught in which grade level. The standards also build upon one another. A student may be exposed to particular content in one grade level and then should be able to analyze it at a later level. Looking towards the future, the goal of the initiative is to align the Common Core State Standards and the current accountability systems within each state. There are 2 consortiums that drive the assessment portion, the PARCC, known as PARC, and Smarter Balanced. states have chosen to join one or the other based on their preferences. New Jersey works with PARC, which is also known as the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers. While the Common Core state standards establish the skills students need to be successful, they only serve as a guide for educators. Each state has the authority to determine if they want to use the standards, how they will further develop them, and how they will be implemented. Once the state makes their determination, local school districts and teachers then further establish how students will be taught. The purpose of any standardized test is to measure student knowledge on a prescribed set of content, and the NJ-ASC is no exception. In this case, the content measured is a combination of New Jersey Core Curriculum Content Standards and the Common Core State Standards. The Common Core State Standards have now become a known term to educators and administrators. All states which have adopted these new standards are moving towards implementing them the best they can within a certain time frame. New Jersey has been working on this change for some time now, and this year will be the first year that the state assessed will see a change. For the 2013 school year, students in grades 3 through 5 math and grades 3 through 8 English Language Arts will be tested on Common Core State Standard aligned content that has been filtered into the familiar format of the NJ-ASC. Students in grades 6 through 8 math will also continue using the familiar format of the NJ-ASC, but their content will remain based on the New Jersey curriculum standards. In all, the 2012-2013 NJ-ASC will assess students in grades 3 through 8 on math and English Language Arts. Students in grades 4 and 8 will also take a science test. This slide is a visual graphic of information relevant to the English Language Arts NJ-ASC for the 2012-2013 school year. And I know it's a lot of information, so we're going to look through it piece by piece. The first element you will notice is that this graphic relates to grades 3 through 8, as these are the grades which have all transitioned to focusing on content aligned to the Common Core State Standards. Next, you will see the types of tasks students will see when taking the English Language Arts exam. The different reading selections, informational and literature passages, writing tasks, multiple choice questions, and open-ended responses. Moving to the left, you will see the point values associated with each test and how those points are derived. Each total score, 50 points for grade 3, 56 for grade 4, 62 for grade 5, and 52 points for grades 6 through 8, will be calculated based on scores for writing tasks and questions that are based on the reading selections. Finally, the bottom portion of the visual indicates the number of questions under each section. Grades 3 through 5 are shown individually, and grades 6 through 8 have the same number of questions. Similarly, this next image offers a visual representation of the newly aligned grades 3 through 5 mathematics NJ-ASC. The focus of this graphic is grades 3 to 5, as those are the grades where students will be taking the NJ-ASC aligned with the new Common Core State Standards. The 5 mathematical domains students will be assessed on are represented on the left side of the chart. Although the domains are all important in their own right, some are given greater emphasis than others at different grade levels. Also, some standards build upon the knowledge and skills required in previous grade levels. This is illustrated in the next portion of the graphic. The weightage of questions by grade level in each of those domains, shown in bar graph format. Moving to the right side of the chart, the types of problems and their assigned point values are shown, offering a sample of how the total of 50 points will be reached. The total number of points on the NJ-ASC devoted to each domain can be broken down into 3 main types of problems. The first type of problem will be set up in multiple choice format. The student will be required to choose the correct answer from a set of 4 possible answers. Each correct response is worth 1 point toward the total score. Although the student is given the opportunity to do any required work to arrive at a correct answer, the work is not in any way considered as part of the score on that exercise. A second type of problem is called a short constructed response, or SCR. This type of problem also requires only a single answer, but the student is not given choices from which to choose. Instead, the answer must be written in an appropriate space in the test booklet. A correct response is worth 1 point. There is no partial credit option on this type of exercise. The student is given space in which to do work, but the person scoring the exercise only looks at what is written in the designated answer space. A third type of problem is called an extended constructed response, or ECR. This type of problem ordinarily has multiple parts and requires the student to perform more than one task. The purpose of an ECR is to test for mathematical understanding. As a result, the ECRs are scored on a scale of 0 to 3. The people scoring the ECRs must determine the level of accuracy and understanding demonstrated by the student. It is possible for a student to receive partial credit on an ECR even if he does not put down a correct answer. The student may offer a written explanation that demonstrates a moderate level of understanding even if he does not arrive at the correct answer. Conversely, a student may not receive full credit for an ECR simply by writing down the correct answer if he cannot explain the mathematical reasoning behind his approach to the problem. Finally, the pyramid on the top right expresses the transitions that have already taken place. Those are at the top, grade 3, 4, and 5, and those transitions that are still to come, grades 6, 7, and 8. So what does it mean that the NJ Ask is now transitional? How will it affect students? For the most part, students will not even realize they are in the midst of an assessment transition this school year. As we discussed on the previous slide, the NJ Ask in grades 3 through 8 English Language Arts and grades 3 to 5 Math have been modified in order to implement the new Common Core state standards. Grades 6 through 8 Math will see this occur in the next school year. However, these new tests will not be the final one developed, as the full range of standards will be included on the new tests developed and administered by HARC in 2015. As New Jersey is a member of this consortium, the state, along with any others in the consortium, will use the framework suggested by PARC. So now that we have developed an understanding of the role of the Common Core state standards in your child's education, as well as what the current NJ Ask will assess, it is important to recognize the best way to support your child to success. Any type of standardized test can be frustrating, and the NJ Ask is no exception. Children and parents can easily become stressed and overwhelmed with the entire process. But paying attention to a few key things before, during, and after the test can go a long way towards alleviating that stress and increasing their chance for success. One of the most important ways you can help your student through the NJ Ask is by understanding the test itself. Children are inquisitive by nature, and they are not afraid to ask questions, particularly if they are worried about a topic. Your ability to answer their questions about the test will go a long way to putting their minds at ease. Common questions children may ask are listed here. The NJ Ask is designed for all students, even those who may struggle with disabilities. All testing occurs within 1 week for each grade level, and it will be spread out over multiple days. Third graders test over 4 mornings, fourth graders test over 5 mornings, and fifth graders will test over 4 mornings. Similarly, students in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades will also test over 4 mornings. The test is timed, and it ranges from 60 to 90 minutes for elementary grades and 60 to 150 minutes for middle grades. The NJ Ask typically focuses on 3 types of questions: multiple choice, open-ended, and constructed responses. The second way parents can prepare their students for success on the NJ Ask is by continually supporting academic work. Students need to develop a deep sense of accomplishment in regards to their daily work. This occurs when parents consistently encourage daily academic success. Stay actively engaged in your child's education. Know what types of assignments they are working on, monitor student success on any assignments, and have regular conversations with your students about what they are learning. When you allow your student to see their education is important, they are more likely to take it seriously. A third way to help your child before the test is to constantly promote the importance of literacy in your family. This can occur in a variety of ways. Encourage your child to read, but do not just stop there. Ask them to retell you what they just read. Glance at the back of their book, pick a character, and ask them to describe that character to you. In ways to have open dialogue about what they are reading. Additionally, let your child see you reading as well, whether it is the newspaper, a research piece, or even a fiction book. Allowing them to see that adults read regularly and enjoy reading can help promote literacy. Many schools offer free or low-cost after-school programs and clubs that support academics. Homework clubs, math tutoring, and catch-up clubs for students who miss work or need extra help with the classwork are just a few of the programs many schools make available on a daily basis. Some elementary schools offer homework assistance or tutoring as part of their after-school programs. Contact your child's school to find out what options may be available. And a final way to support your child before the NJ Ask is to offer opportunities to practice similar assessments. Students must be given the opportunity to regularly practice for the test. Success on any standardized test requires a combination of skills in understanding content and familiarization with the test itself. Consistent test rehearsal with Common Core and NJ Ask aligned test prep programs offer students the opportunity to combine both skills. Students perform at their best on standardized tests when they feel comfortable with the test content as well as the test format. That way, they can focus more on what is being asked and less on how it is being asked. One program that offers students the opportunity to practice tests in a setting that mirrors the new guidelines and frameworks is Lumos Learning. This is used to extend classroom learning as a supplemental program. It is self-paced, student-directed, individualized, and personalized learning that can improve student performance on any grade level standardized test. It offers realistic practice tests that allow students to practice short constructed response questions, extended constructed responses, and open-ended questions, in addition to the usual multiple choice questions typically seen in practice assessments. Additionally, these programs offer detailed answer explanations for each question. Lumos Learning offers the most flexible types of programs of supplemental learning, ranging from printed books, online assessments, and e-learning. This program relies on the most up-to-date Common Core state standards, and all resources available are aligned to the most current test frameworks. More information can be found at lumostestprep.com/NJAsk. But support for success does not just come for the test. Students need to feel confident on the days they are testing as well. First, ensure your children receive ample amounts of rest in the days before the test. 4 to 5 days of testing is long for children, even if their test time only occurs for a couple of hours in the morning. When the time spent on the test is coupled with the stress many students feel, the effect can be mental fatigue and physical exhaustion. Solid hours of sleep the night before a test plus relaxation after the test can help them overcome this. Children also need energy to increase their stamina and ability to focus throughout the test. Ensure your children eat healthy throughout the week of testing, particularly in the mornings. A balanced breakfast can give them the energy they need to be successful for their day. A third way to prepare for success during the week of testing is to de-stress your mornings. Even if your child indicates the test is really no big deal, they will each still battle with some amount of stress. You can help alleviate this by making your home as stress-free as possible. This is the ultimate time of picking your battles. If you have an argument with your child over the socks they choose to wear for the morning, you are sending them to their testing environment stressed. Take the time to send them to school with an even, calm, emotional climate. A final way to promote success on testing days is to ensure your children have the supplies they need. In most cases, every tool your child will need will be provided by the school. Rulers, calculators, and other charts will be given to the students when appropriate, so you do not need to worry about providing those. However, you may want to ensure your child has enough sharpened pencils, even extra if it makes them feel more secure. Check ahead of time to be sure of your school's water and snack policy. If allowed, ensure your child has a bottle of water to stay hydrated and increase their focus. But test anxiety does not disappear simply because the test is over. You may have to work to ensure your child is still prepared for success once they complete the test. After all, they will be going through this process many times in their academic career, and your support after the test can help them prepare for the future. First, allow your child to relax as much as possible in the afternoons on testing days. Certainly if they are involved in activities or have other obligations, those must be met. But even giving your child 30 minutes to de-stress as much as possible can help them recover mentally and physically. Second, if handled correctly, students are reminded that the test is not the end-all be-all of their school year. Your children need to learn that although much emphasis may be placed on the test, it is not the only measure of their academic success. Their academic year is not over, and they will need to stay focused to remain successful. Finally, encourage your children to talk about their test in any way they need. Do not force them to discuss the test or analyze it piece by piece, but allow them to discuss and ask any questions they have. Giving them this freedom can also continue to strengthen the notion that academics are an important part of your family life. Although supporting your child is of the utmost importance, taking care of yourself is important as well. So how do you survive the period leading up to the NJ Ask, the week of testing, and the aftermath? First, you have to remain positive. Each of us has our own opinions about standardized testing. As both an educator and a parent, I see the benefit of testing, but I also recognize how hard it can be on children. However, it does not matter how we may personally feel about the test. It is here to stay in some form or another. In all of your conversations, you must remain positive about the test. Your children will imitate your opinion. If you constantly grumble about the need for the test or comment about how ridiculous it may be, your children may approach the test with that same attitude. This is not to say that your opinion is not important or is not validated. However, you just have to be cautious about how and when you share that opinion in front of your children. Secondly, work to remain calm as much as possible during the week of testing. Your children will be able to sense your mood and will likely carry that over to the test. If they sense you are stressed and unhappy, they may go into the testing room with that same emotional attitude. And finally, you can survive the NJ Ask by arming yourself with as much knowledge as possible. Attending webinars like this, reading information provided from the state, and staying in touch with your local school's policies and practices will help you do that. Additionally, arming yourself with knowledge will also help you determine the best way to help your child with solid test rehearsal in a low-stress environment. Before we move to the question and answer portion of this webinar, I would like to share with you a couple of things. We like to keep this discussion active and provide additional information as we move into the new curriculum and the test transitions. So we would greatly appreciate it if you would join the discussion by liking our Facebook page at facebook.com/Lumos Test Prep. Additionally, we would love your feedback from the presentation. So while on the Facebook page, please take a moment to provide feedback on this webinar by clicking the SurveyMonkey link on that Facebook page. The survey will only take about 1 to 2 minutes time. And finally, we are looking for a few people to review our books on Amazon.com and Facebook.com. So if you have any familiarity with our books and would like to do this, we will thank you for your help by sending you a $5 Starbucks e-gift card. Once you complete a review on both pages, please send an email to the support address above with a link to both reviews. After that, we will send you the e-gift card.